Here walks into his middle school in West Virginia wearing an NRA shirt with a picture of a hunting rifle on it. He and his teacher get in it over it. And he was suspended and arrested, and now finds himself facing charges of obstruction and disturbing the educational process. Does this have any merit? Doug Uloth is a legal expert, works First Amendment cases. Does this make any sense to you at all, Doug?
It seems to be a likely overreaction on the part of an individual rather than the school or the other teachers at the school.
It's gotten a lot of support, though, he has from pro-gun types and the anti-politically correct types, though.
I think that the design of the T-shirt itself will ultimately prove to be pretty significant in how this plays out. As you described, the shirt has the NRA initials on it and a picture of a hunting rifle, but there's also a banner in the middle in between those two that says "Protect Your Right," which is fairly clearly in context referring to the Second Amendment right to bear arms. And I think that the presence of that, as opposed to just being an NRA shirt, will put it fairly well into the range of protected what's called political speech or expressing an opinion on politics. It seems like that will be a hard sell for the school to convince a court that that's not something that's pretty well protected under the established Supreme Court law.
Gee, I hope the school doesn't have any history books with pictures of people holding guns or anything, you know what I mean?
I'm sure that there must be one in there somewhere.
I understand that the dress code there does prohibit clothing displaying what they call violence, but gun images I don't think are listed specifically, to my understanding.
Based on what I've seen, that is true, and the items that are prohibited by the school's dress code clearly seem to be within the type of area that can be regulated by a school. Schools have been found to be able to prohibit wearing apparel that seems to promote drug usage, that is, contains reference to sex or sexual innuendo, or promotes alcohol. And that seemed to me, from what I'd seen about the policy that the school had, to be pretty well in line with what it's able to prohibit.
Now, square me away if I'm wrong, but I do believe students don't have the same level of First Amendment rights as adults. The Supreme Court also ruled that students' rights must be considered against the, characteristics of the school environment. Speech that disrupts school activities, for example, isn't protected by the First Amendment. Is that true?
That's correct. Students do not have quite the same level of rights as children, and schools traditionally occupy at least part of the role that a parent would. And so much as a parent would have the right to tell a child that something he's wearing is not acceptable and he can't go out with it, there's an aspect of that carries over into the powers that a school would have. However, the Supreme Court, when it first stepped into the question about regulation of speech at school in a case called Tinker, indicated that you do have to recognize the rights of students to undertake political expression, essentially as part of the process of letting them learn to be citizens.
Sure. Doug Uloth, a legal expert, works on First Amendment cases.